You're listening to Talk in the Night with your host, Paranormal Phil. And now, your host.
Thank you, and good evening, good morning, wherever you might be listening around the world or in the comfort of your own home. I am Paranormal Phil. This is Talking Tonight. And tonight we're going to get into connecting with spirits with my guest, Mike Cavalli, all the way out in Austria. Vienna, Austria. So please welcome to the show my guest, Mike Cavalli.
How are you all doing down there?
It is great to be on the air.
Yeah, and it's great to be here. It's 6 a.m. here in Austria, and it's a great time to do these shows because the night is still in the air and everything is still, and it's just a wonderful time to connect with spirit and connect with the universe before all the chaos of the day starts to begin.
Oh yeah, that's why I like doing my show at night, because it's so much better. It's quiet, and of course I'm out in the country, so it's even quieter. But no, I mean it's a perfect time. I mean, like I was telling you before the show started, I've been in the paranormal field for 25 years, and I enjoy the night. It's perfect time for everything.
Yeah, most of the work I do is actually at night as well. Again, it's that kind of time, isn't it, where to me, the most important thing is finding stillness. We've got to find stillness. And, it's when the traffic stops rolling and people are indoors and the whole day winds down, or before the day winds up. This is just the perfect time. In many ways, it works like meditation, doesn't it? It's that stillness that you find. That's when you can connect with the universe, when you can connect with spirit. I actually think it's better in the morning for me because the energy is rising. But that's just a personal thing. Spirit is around anyway at any time.
Yeah, any time. It doesn't matter. They don't know our time and space.
No. So it's really just a personal thing for the channel, as it were. So for me, the morning energy is the best thing. I mean, I do sun gazing. I don't know if any of the listeners are aware of this. This is looking at the sun at sunrise and sunset. At the moment, we don't have a lot of sun, but I enjoy the morning energy of the sun rising. It's a beautiful energy, and it's to me, some people like the sunset. Of course, I like the sunset, but the sun rising, that energy of the sun rising, doing the sun gazing that way is a wonderful thing. And of course, the added bonus to all that is if you're a channel and a medium, by doing sun gazing, it actually helps to decalcify the pineal gland, which has been blocked up with all this processed food and fluoride and God knows what else they're putting in the drink. So once you decalcify your pineal gland, you can start to make a better connection as well.
Yeah, well, I love being up not really love being up in the morning. I'm a night person, but I do get up in the morning because I have animals that I do have to feed, chickens and stuff like that. But I do like the morning too, but I prefer the night. I've always been that kind of person that really likes the darkness and everything like that. And of course, I have a dark side to me too, but it's a dark sense of humor is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all have a dark side, don't we? And the important thing I found in my life is not to deny that dark side. If you try and suppress it, it only comes back stronger and more powerful. And, we live in a world of polarity, don't we? Day and night, boy and girl, east and west, north and south, everything. We have polarity. And the dark side is part of us. And what is the dark side? It can be anything from downright wicked and evil, which most of us are not, to selfishness, to I don't know, envy, jealousy. But the important thing, I think, is to recognise that and just try and better yourself with the dark side. I don't actually see a problem with the dark side. It's been given a bad press, hasn't it? The dark side.
Yeah.
The dark side. Of course, look, if we're talking about walking on the ceiling with your hands backwards and your head twisting around, I mean, that's
a whole nother story.
But most of us, what is the dark side for most of us? Perhaps being nasty to someone for a split second where there's no apparent reason because we got out of bed the wrong way. And if we just sort of address those issues, but we have to actually make the real intention to address those issues, that's fine. We can deal with the dark side of us. But from my experience, it never goes away because of polarity. And the more positive we become, the more we face our realities, the more the dark side gets put back into its little corner there. That's my experience of it. It's just I've found that when I've tried in the past to suppress bad feelings, dark feelings, it just comes back stronger. And so the key, and I would say to a lot of your viewers or listeners if they call in, is to in many ways embrace your dark side, not to the point you're going to hurt yourself or hurt anybody else, but face your dark side and deal with it. And after you do, you feel so much lighter, so much better for yourself, because you've unblocked all that energy that you've had stored up inside you, which isn't too good for your own well-being.
Yeah. Well, no, I work at an amusement park, so I love having fun. There's a ride there that's been closed for almost a year, and I was on a ride close to it, and I told people, because the day was ending, the park was closing, I kind of muttered under my breath a little bit, but loud enough to where this group that was staying after the park closed, I said, I'm going to be over at Fireball right after this ride. I had people standing in line for about 5 minutes at a ride that's obviously closed. That's my kind of dark side.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of dark side, that isn't so bad, is it? We can live with that. We can live with that kind of thing. It's what I've experienced with a lot of people is the problems that they face. That they don't deal with straight away. I'll give you a very quick example. There was a professor who was at his class, and he held up a glass of water, and everybody thought, well, he's going to do the half glass, half full, half empty routine. But instead, he asked how heavy was this glass, and that was at 4 ounces, 6 ounces. Well, he said, look, it doesn't really matter. He said, if I hold this glass for 10 minutes, I can hold it and talk to you, I can focus, that's no problem. So I hold it for 2 or 3 hours. Well, he said, I've got to hang on to it a little bit, but I can still get on with my day's work and talk. But if I hang on to this all day, by the end of the day, he said, hanging on to this glass, my hand is paralyzed. I can't think of anything else but holding this glass. And then he concluded, the trouble is that glass weighed the same at the start of the day as it did at the end of the day. It's just we held on to it, and so it seemed heavier. And our problems are like that. If we don't deal with them straight away and we hang on to them, like the rolling news, it gets worse and worse, then it becomes problematic, and then it becomes a dark side, if you like. It starts to consume us. Then we have to do this shadow work to release it. So we was talking about shadow work and the dark side there. That's kind of how the dark side creeps into a lot of people. They just let problems roll on and roll on and roll on. And here's the great thing about it, is that only when our back is up against the wall, we deal with it. Only when we're vulnerable, we're our most vulnerable, we're our most authentic, and that's when we know who we really are, and we can deal and face with all the problems. So the question is, why do we wait for the dark side to raise its head, why don't we just deal with it, and then it's over with? Yeah.
Yeah, just like you said, just embrace it. I mean, it's going to come anyways. Why not?
Yeah. We're going to be challenged left, right, and centre from everybody. For people working in offices, they can tell you office politics. People can just be nasty and spiteful for no reason at all, and you're picking up their energy. But the good news is we do know from shows like the Law of Attraction and What the Bleep and stuff like this, that what you give out you get back. So if you do not react to this kind of thing, if you just say, okay, all right, that's it, they've said that, I'm not going to be offended, I can only be offended or upset with my own permission, let them have their dark side, and it actually throws it back at them. But when you react and you get all upset, you've absorbed more of the dark side of people. Now, again, of course, you can shrug it off most of the time, but sometimes it weighs on people, especially when they have other issues that they're dealing with. So the key to everything I find in life is just to be joyful, playful, happy. Of course, you have to be serious at work and do your work properly, but if we can just start to find I'll tell you what, let's not take ourselves so seriously. Also, that's the key to things. We're human, we make mistakes, we can laugh at our mistakes, and all this just brushes the dark side away. It really does. So these are all things, all tools that I found are useful to help with that.
All right, so now you're a medium. So when was the first time that you noticed that you had that ability?
Well, now this is a bit of a long story. This goes back since I was really like 5 or 6 years of age, and I used to see spirit. I'd see spirit children, and I just, to be honest, wouldn't know if they were humans or spirit. And of course, I come from an Italian Catholic background, and this would scare the life out of my mum and dad because they thought I was becoming a liar, attention seeking, and it soon dawned on them that I could see something that they didn't. And so that's when it sort of started, and I grew up with this kind of thing. Eventually, my mother and father knocked it out of me, knocked that kind of connection out of them. But it kept coming back throughout the years. Things were happening. I would occasionally see something, and then I got involved in spiritual healing, and that opened the whole thing back up again. And then on and off, for many years, I'd join circles and I would just do readings for friends and people like this. I don't normally do readings for family because I know too much about them, and my earthly brain steps in sometimes. But that was the path for me. And also, I think I do believe that I know now I had a near-death experience as a child, and I think that was the key that opened up the channel for me. And so yes, it's been around. I don't think I've been as active day in, day out as you have been with your work, but it's like that scene from The Godfather, isn't it, where he says, every time I try getting out of this business, something draws me back in. And that's exactly what it was for me. And so in the end, I basically gave up and said, okay, I'll do your work. And so for the past many years, I've been doing this work, and it's been a blessing. It's been a real blessing and a joy to do this, as I'm sure it is for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to help people because I've mentioned it before on my show, and I'll mention it again. The way I see things on how people have this ability is I coined the term for describing it as the Santa Claus effect. Because when we're young, we're told Santa Claus is real. As we grow older, we're told that he's not real. Well, the same thing with the ability to see and communicate with spirits is when we're young, our minds are not corrupted by the everyday world, and it's at the forefront. And as
Yeah.
we grow older, a lot of us are told that it's not real, it's just our imagination. And that ability is still there, but it gets pushed back to the deepest parts of the subconscious, and we don't know how to unlock that unless we have, like, possibly a near-death NDE, near-death experience or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, and also I think with the greatest respect to people who are into religion and church, certainly the Catholic Church, I have found, has really played a major part in suppressing this gift that we all have. I say many times, this isn't an elitist occupation. This is something that we are born with. Every single one of us are born with. And we see it actually with mothers who are just brilliant with their babies. They only have to hold their baby to calm a baby. Okay, that is spirit communication. That is the soul. That is the real you working. And mothers intuitively know when their babies are not well. They intuitively know if their son or their daughter is not happy at school. This is what we are all blessed with. And I do feel that I can only speak from my background and my church, the way we was brought up, that it certainly has suppressed that. And it's sort of coupled along with, how bad you are and you must go to confession. All this is sort of has a negative impact on this. And of course, a lot of people don't believe because of fear of the unknown, and everything they've read from traditional teachings. But if we do go back to the Bible, anybody who's really into that kind of thing, it's mentioned several times by Christ himself about spirit communication. So if you're doing things in a good heart and you're not dabbling, that's the most important thing, not to dabble. This is where people get in trouble, when they dabble and do things for a laugh. Because you will get a laugh, but you won't find it very funny. Spirit will find it very funny. So it's important to do it with good heart and good intention. And then we can all do this. We can redevelop. We can learn to open up that channel again. It's trust, isn't it? We don't trust. And when I do development circles, we normally put a sign at the door: leave your logic at the door and collect it on the way out, because it is a completely different thinking when you're trying to communicate with spirit. I actually think it's probably more natural because we have to learn to trust, and we're born with that gift of trust. We trust mum, we trust dad, and we trust the people that mum and dad trust, etc., etc. So somewhere along the line, we've learned not to trust as well, and that can also block this wonderful gift that we all have.
Yeah, well, speaking of the church, because I've had my dealings with them before, because of course I'm not, I'm Wiccan. I practice the lighter side of magic, but I've had people, the people I call Bible thumpers, I'm like, say, I tell them I'm Wiccan, they're like, you're a devil worshiper. No, Wiccans, we don't believe in the devil. We don't believe in demons. But the way I look at it is they believe in heaven and hell, and I believe in a higher plane of existence and a lower plane of existence, which could be construed as heaven and hell. And of course, every religion has their own version of it.
Yeah. But, yes, the heaven and hell, and my experience of all this is, it's more for me of a state of being. So you have the higher realms and the lower realms. I also feel that you can work your way up to the higher realms, which eventually means you go back to the source. You become conscious with the one. And so when we make this transition from this world into the next, as we all know, as you sow, you shall reap. So you go to a place where your light is most suited. For most of us, fortunately, we go to a nice place, a very nice place, and we can, as we see, we can grow, and our light gets bigger and we can go to higher realms and higher realms. But I also would like to say, perhaps it's controversial, I don't know, but even the most wicked of people, the most, people that have caused untold harm to people, even they get the opportunity to redeem and step into the light. I believe that, and it is hard for some people, especially somebody who has lost a child, for example, when their life was taken from them unnecessarily. I do understand a lot of them will wish, that they rot in hell forever. I do believe that those people also will have the opportunity to see the error of their way, to grow and eventually step into the light. I can't see an all-omnipotent source, force, love, a force of energy that's just pure love, denying anyone the opportunity to be in love again. That's sort of my view on it. So maybe that might provoke a few calls to contradict me. Who knows?
Yeah, well, like I said about the Catholic Church, I also saw a video a while back, and I wish I could remember where I saw it, but it was about somebody from the Catholic Church saying that heaven and hell was made up just to scare people. There's no doubt about that. Catholicism has moved along a bit since I was a child, but certainly the whole issue of Catholicism when I grew up was about scaring the bejesus out of people. I don't believe heaven is a place like the place I'm sitting in talking to you. I really feel it's a state of being. It's a different. Yeah, it's a different consciousness, and so we see many and hear many times people when they have near-death experiences, they experience different aspects. Some people see the tunnel, others don't. Others see themselves in this sort of just this energy force around them. Some of them just feel pure love. Some of them still can see their body attached. So the beauty about all this is that when we do make this transition into the next world, there is no one size fits all. It is what it is to you, and I just think that's got to be a fantastic experience to know that basically we can, within the limits of our light, can do pretty much what we want. We can keep the form of our body if we choose to. We probably don't need it. We can choose to eat if we want. We don't need it. We can choose to smoke if we want, but we don't need it. We're free of the constricts of humanity on this earth plane, but we can still choose to do the things that we enjoy doing until we decide, okay, I want to move on just a little bit more. And so, of course, learning is a lot easier on the other side, as my understanding, is because we don't have bills to pay. We don't have to worry about getting up and going to work. We don't have to worry about all these things. So our mindset is free from these chains of humanity that we've imposed upon ourselves. Of course, fortunately, if you love your work, like I do, then I don't need a break. I don't need a holiday. I think I'm just going to continue my work on the other side whenever that time is, and see where that takes me. But the other side is so big, is so vast. I don't think even the people that have had the opportunity to go and come back and tell their story can actually remember or understand absolutely what the other side is all about. I think it's beyond it's so vast, isn't it, that we can't possibly know everything that's going on. So it really is something to look forward to, I think. And more people actually are understanding this now about death and passing, that there is no death. There's just a transition, and one of the wonderful things is that being with your loved one when they make the transition is actually, when my father passed, I was there, and it was a wonderful thing to actually be there, knowing
that he went. I was in his presence, rather than just sitting at home wondering what's happening, blah, 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 blah. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience. If you let go of the, please, Dad, don't go, don't leave us. If you let go of that, because what we did actually, and this might help some people, is I said to my father, look, Dad, if you want to go, then that's okay. We'll look after Mum. She won't be forsaken, so and so. And because the hearing is the last thing that goes. And I think after I had this little chat with him, he really did have enough. He didn't want to suffer anymore, and he went. And it was comforting for him. It was comforting for me also. And so if we can just change our perception, of course we don't want to lose people, but if we can try and change that perception of seeing it not as losing them, but just merely they've moved on a little bit before us, and we keep them in our hearts, and if we talk to them, they will respond. They often do that. I think there's a gap of, I think, for 2 weeks when they pass in the other side, and then they start to come back and try and communicate with you. And if you keep open to that possibility and understand that you're not going mad, and you're not hearing things and you're not wishing things, then you can start to communicate with it. I speak to my father and my mother, not all the time, but I know they're around. And it's a great comfort always. Yeah,
I'm the same way. I know I don't speak to them all the time, because when my mom passed away, I took care of her before she passed away, and then she had health issues and stuff like that, so it hit me really hard. So I couldn't be there when they pulled the life support, but because it just took a toll on me and everything like that. But I knew that she was going to a better place, that higher plane of existence. But it just hit me hard for a few days, like a week or two after the funeral, and then I was like, okay, I know she's in a better place and everything like that.
Absolutely. And look, there's no doubt it is painful when you lose a loved one. But if there's, look, I tell you, I speak to so many people who go to the church in London, and they go week in, week out, and they still say to me, I really want to think there is something else. And I think to myself, well, surely that your teachings has told you there is. Why don't you believe? And the answer is because we really are taught that you die and you wait till Judgment Day and resurrection. Until then, that's it. It's pretty cold to think like that and have that teaching brought upon you. And so it takes a lot of courage for certain people to say, no, that isn't the way it is. And I think our job, part of it, is to help people understand, that life just doesn't end here. There is connection still, and this is merely a transition from one life form to another energy form, and that offers comfort to people. And I think this is why they come to mediums, they come to channels to get that comfort, which I think traditional religions don't necessarily offer to people, which is a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah, well, that's why I do this show, because I like to. I'm the kind of person that'll listen more than I will speak, and I always try to speak when I know what I'm talking about. But I do this show so that I give people different points of view, because if you listen to just one point of view, you're gonna start believing just that one point of view, and nothing else is right. So I like to listen and understand other people's point of view and stuff like that. I might not agree with it, but I want to see where they're coming from, and hopefully they do the same thing and listen to my point of view. I mean, this is fantastic thinking, because again, society has taught us to think in terms of black and white, what is right and what is wrong, but there is no correct way. There is that phrase, just because I'm right, it doesn't mean you're wrong.
what is right to me may not be correct or right to you. And so it's important, and this is why when people come through in the spirit world, they come through and they give a different perspective. For example, some people come through and they don't want to say I love you because they didn't say that on the earth plane. Now that doesn't mean that they're cold. It just means that they really want to get the message across that.
Okay, sorry, we're coming up to the commercial break.
Right, okay.
But we'll be right back with my guest, Mike Cavalli, as we talk about connecting with spirits and some other things. So we'll be right back after the short commercial break.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Sure. Yeah.
Are you a ghost hunter or want to become one but don't have the equipment? Well, GhostStop.com has all your ghost hunting equipment needs. If you are a beginner, they have beginner ghost hunting kits on sale for $99.95, or for the seasoned ghost hunter that is missing that one piece of equipment, GhostStop.com has a laser grid scope on sale for $18.95. Click on the banner ad at the top of the Talk of the Night website and get shopping today. GhostStop.com, your one-stop shop for all your ghost hunting needs. Do you have a paranormal team? Are you a small-time author? Do you have a radio show that you would like to promote? Yeah. Is there anything that you would like to get the word out there about but don't have a big budget?
Yeah.
Well, Talking the Night has an opportunity for you to sponsor the show without breaking your wallet. Contact the show at talkingthenight@outlook.com.
It does. I know exactly.
Or on the show's
that it takes a lot of bloody work. That's for sure. Yeah, so more power to you.
Do you think you have a haunted or cursed object? What Nicole Gaspard does, and in her book Haunted Vessels and Cursed Objects, she talks about her continued paranormal and supernatural ghost encounters, haunted dolls, and other items that are supposed to be haunted or cursed. Pick up your copy today on Amazon.com.
Okay. Okay. Just making some notes here.
How do we get so brave? And we could ride the tidal waves together, escaping all the gamma rays. Tell me, how do we get so brave? Tell me, how do we get so brave?
Okay, and we are back with my guest Mike Cavalli as we talk about connecting with spirits. And before the break, we were talking about the church and everything like that, and his work as a medium. And now you do have a podcast that you do. You want to let listeners know about that podcast?
Yeah, it's on Blog Talk Radio. It's a live call-in. It's Sunday and Monday evening, so that's 8 p.m. Europe time. So I think, I don't know, in California, that's
probably early morning hours.
Yeah, something. Well, probably about you're 9 hours behind us, so it's probably about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, something like that. But you can get it at Blog Talk Radio /sacred -circle, or just put my name in at Blog Talk Radio, and that should come up. And we do all kinds of shows there. I normally pick a theme. The last night's show was, Fake It Till You Make It, and that wasn't intended as conning people, but it was a self-confidence issue. A lot of people know they can do things, they can do the job, and so on and so forth, but they don't have the confidence to do it.
Yeah, I was listening to that show earlier today when I had a chance, and it was great work. We do other shows, The Power of Vulnerability, You Can Be the Dream Maker, because we started off by saying, this gift that we've all been given, and we've all been given this gift equally. It's just up to us how we develop it. And obviously some people have been brought up in a more of a privileged position that they can focus more on what they want, where others are brought up in a position where they have to focus on work and survival. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter if you're, say, Richard Branson or me, or somebody who's unfortunately is homeless. We all have that gift. There's equality right the way through, and we just got to try and, if we want to succeed in anything, in relationships, work, anything, if we want abundance in all these things, this is the way to do it. This is the way to push ourselves forward. Excuse me. That's all right.
And so we speak about this. I've done a lovely show. I really loved the show. It was called Miracle in the Andes, and this was about the Uruguayan plane crash many years ago in the 1970s. It was the rugby team, and they made a movie of this called Alive. And obviously it was notarized because the survivors had to eat part of the dead people to survive. But there was something much deeper than this. This was a very, very spiritual story. And the survival, as the main guy, Nando Parado, said, it really was two things. Those who wanted to survive were the ones that survived. And the other thing, what motivated him to survive, and I think it's such a beautiful thing, a very spiritual thing, and this is where the strength comes from. It was, he just wanted to see his father's face smile when he saw him. Something as simple as that was the very thing that gave him hope, gave him inspiration, that he wasn't going to be defeated, because back in the day those planes didn't have these trackers on them, and they were all presumed dead. Nobody was looking for them. Nobody was looking for them. So we do all these kind of shows. I done one that was really enjoyed a while back called The Adjustment Bureau. Remember there was the film with Matt Damon, The Adjustment Bureau. Very, very spiritual film. Hollywood twists it a little bit, as they do.
Yeah, they always twist something like that.
There's references to the halls of learning and stuff like this that goes on there. They've sort of made a twisted version of Guardian Angels with these guys in the top hats, not letting people, do what they want to do, but making them do their predestined choice before they come into the earth plane. So we do all these shows, we theme it, and then I just leave it open to people to decide if they want to talk about the theme or just talk about whatever's on their mind, because it is their show after all, and they phone in with their ideas and want to know how to resolve issues. So that's what I do on the Blog Talk Network.
So you just do you mostly do like a topic for your podcast, or is it a lot of reading based thing, or is it?
Well, it's nearly all readings. The shows are an hour and a half long, and it's always got a theme. I always have a theme. It's just to get people motivated, and also to, some people might like the idea of a theme that they can resonate with, and then they call in. So basically, it's just like the opening audio. I do a little chat for 2 or 3 minutes after the opening, and then it's live calls all the way for an hour and a half, all the way through. And and it makes very interesting listening, I think, and you know, from my point of view.
Well, okay, go ahead.
I learn quite a lot. I know much more about myself now, and I have to say that I am so grateful for my life, because I don't have anywhere near the problems that some of the people have that called in. And so this has been a real blessing to me as well, and make me appreciate my life. And you know what happens with appreciation? It's up there with the love energy. And gratitude and appreciation can really just push you along at a phenomenal rate. So that's what the show's done for me. I don't earn a penny out of it. Don't get a penny out of it. I trust in spirit, and when the time is right, they will find me a sponsor. They will find me backers. It's the trust thing for me. So that's how that's really helped me in my life as well. Anyway, so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, well, see, like me, I like to do the different topics because a lot of people don't know about certain things until they hear me talking about it. Like I did a show last week on my Facebook Live show, Ask Paranormal Phil, about Bigfoot, and I talked about the different names of Bigfoot, and talked about down in the southern United States, Florida, Georgia, and stuff like that. It's called a skunk ape, and there are people that were like, "Wow, I didn't know that." But it's like getting that information out there, letting people learn about this stuff, because I didn't know about it myself until I took the time to actually learn about it, or hear somebody else talk about it. And I was like, but then again, like I said, growing up, I was saw my first spirit when I was 5 years old, and then of course going to up to Canada for the Calgary Stampede in my teens. Most kids would want a toy while they're on a road trip. And me, I picked out a book on Bigfoot. I was like, forget the toys, I want the book. I want to learn. I wanted to learn about this stuff. It just was more interesting to me than a toy. So, I mean, that's why I do the show, so I can help other people learn that kind of joy, rather than just the everyday little joy that you're going to toss away.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the common themes that always springs up, and I notice that people's lives change, is when they turn that damn television off, or if they're going to watch the telly, watch something that's funny, that's joyful, that's creative. Turn the news off. Nothing's going to change from day to day. You know, it just lowers your vibration, lowers your energy, and it's called programming for a reason. Inadvertently, these people are in your home every day, and you start to trust the people, especially newsreaders. You know, they're in the home every day, and you start to trust them. Turn the thing off, or watch something fun, something enjoyable, and just watch your life change once you start to do that. I mean, I used to watch The Mentalist, and I used to watch Persons of Interest. They got so gruesome in the end, so gruesome, I didn't want to watch it anymore, because it wasn't entertaining anymore. And what I realized was, and I think this is with all of us, that it was habit. I was watching it out of habit until I realized I don't like this anymore. I had to make that conscious thought, I don't like this anymore, and so I turned it off. But usually we do things habitually, and if we turn all that stuff off and start doing some joyful stuff, our lives do change, because we are working on a higher vibration. Now, it might not change instantly, it might not change in 2 or 3 weeks, but where it starts is in the family house. If there's problems in the house, suddenly we get some form of coordination, cohesion. Things start to move along smoothly, and then kids go to school happier, and that reflects on their school friends who go home happier, and then they're happier, their parents are happier. It has this massive snowball effect. So I would encourage somebody, if they want to just lift their life, just be aware of what they're watching, what they're reading, who they're talking to, also, and just try and live in joy, and most importantly, live in the now.
Yeah, well, of course, growing up, when I grew up, we went outside to play. We didn't. We were inside maybe a little bit to play video games when they were first coming out in the early 70s. But when I grew up, dating myself, but most of the time we were outside, having fun, enjoying life. Nowadays, it's everything: electronics, computers, TVs. Where kids are glued to TV and they're not out there enjoying life. That's what's going to make us happy, is enjoying the life rather than being stuck behind some screen and everything like that. It
was basically getting in touch with nature again. We ran out and we got filthy dirty. We was in mud. We got on our bike. We fell off. We cut ourselves. We grazed, and we got up. We just wiped the graze off, wiped the blood off, and off we went again. But we was out with nature, and there's another clue for us, isn't it? We need to get back to nature in order to get reconnected with the earth. It was discovered that many people, myself included at one time, thought we were just humans walking about on the earth, separate from the earth itself, but it turns out we're not. The frequency of our heart is in the same frequency as the earth, and the earth hears and responds to our thoughts. And this was proven with random event generators from the Math Heart Institute. And when that first plane hit the Twin Tower, the random event generators went absolutely berserk. We knew at some subconscious level something was going to happen. We didn't know what it was, but it sent the random event generators crazy. And likewise, when Diana died, the random event generators went absolutely mad at some subconscious level. We knew it, and the earth responded to it. So we are not innocent bystanders on this earth plane. We are really connected with the earth plane. And I just think that is wonderful. And I think also we are connected with animal kingdom. We are seeing more and more now animal whisperers, horse whisperers, dog whisperers. And animals are evolving. Monkeys are evolving. They're becoming more intelligent. They're adapting to our way of life. We're beginning to communicate much more now with animals. And I think this can only be a good thing for the whole of humanity. So we are fortunate to be living in this wonderful change that is going on now.
Yeah, well, like I posted a story up on the show's website, I think last week, about with technology, and I don't know if you've seen the movie Up, but
no, I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, in that animated movie, they have a collar on the dog where he can speak. Well,
right.
I posted a story, I think last week or something like that, where they're actually working on something like that to where we can communicate with dogs. And it's like, okay, that could probably be a bad thing. But
if dogs knew our thoughts, which they do, but anyway, okay.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. I mean, I'm the kind of person that is good with the animals, and I see a lot of people where we're becoming more connected with the animals and everything like that.
Yeah. I mean, we show compassion. We must have compassion. It doesn't mean we have to be stupid. It doesn't mean we have to give our soul away to show compassion. But if we can show compassion, real love is doing something for somebody that can never repay you. And I see it, and I post a lot of things on Facebook where, firemen, for example, have gone in and rescued a puppy or a kitten. Whereas in days gone by, many people would have thought, perhaps, I'm not risking my life for a dog or for a cat. We're seeing people now changing their position towards all life forms. Now, I just saw one, actually it was last night or this morning, where there was excess heat in, I think, Australia or New Zealand, and they were out feeding the koala bears and giving them water because everything had dried up. We're seeing some wonderful things now with humanity, and I think if we focus on that side of things, we get more of it, don't we? We talk about the ever-expanding universe. I've learned that it's because of our thoughts. It's our thoughts that are expanding the universe. And as the universe expands, we get more thoughts going out there. And the more positive thoughts we have, more people like you and me doing this work, and just people going about their daily business, having more positive thoughts, it changes the world. It really does. You're probably aware of the groups of people that are doing mass meditation. There's the Maharishi effect, where he worked out if you take 1% of the square root of any given population, focus on a single outcome, it has to happen. And they did this in DC, Washington DC, for 5 weeks with 5,000 people meditating on lowering crime, whatever they used. And they involved the police, the mayor, they took into account all the statistics. And for the time of the meditation, I think a crime dropped by 23%. They've done this in Wales, South Africa, everywhere. So we know that collective consciousness, if it's focused on, really focused, if we do it all together at a single time, we can change things. We know fluoride is bad for us, for example. So if a community is trying to get fluoride in the water system, if that community meditates, focuses on a beneficial outcome for water in their system, then fluoride isn't going to happen. Something will happen where the bill doesn't get passed, and that community will remain fluoride free. This isn't something pie in the sky. This is reality. This is how real life, I would say, works. Yeah. And the more we get together as people and do this kind of thing, we see spiritual growth. We talk about spiritual growth as something that's, different from us, but we are spirit, actually. We are spirit. So there's nothing unusual about this. It's just reconnecting again with the true essence of who we are.
Yeah, our bodies are our soul, our spirit's vessel. So that's just a carrying tool for our spirit, our soul, and everything like that. So, like I was going to mention when we were talking about the animals and connected with animals, we had last year fires out here in California, and there was a story on the news where a guy stopped alongside the freeway to catch a wild rabbit to help him from keep getting burned. And I see it more often that people are out there trying to help one another. Now there are those people that tend to lean more towards the dark side, and they're trying to destroy everything. But if we keep that light up, that energy up, they cannot break through that.
No, absolutely. I mean, love conquers everything. We know this, and there's only love and there's nothing else. And of course, when we talk of love, we don't talk of the kissy, hug, I love you, love. Yeah. We're talking about something that's deep within us. And we have to break through. We started off talking about the dark side and all this. We have to sort of really break that all down to allow who we really are to shine forward. And I think also a lot of folk out there, it's a protection for them to not show that love, to not express who they really are because of perhaps the community, fear of ridicule and all the rest of it. But if you can overcome this and take your shield down and allow your heart really to expand, allow your light to expand, all these things will change for you for the better. And is it good or bad? But when you do this, some people that you've known for a long time will drop away because you'll start to see the goodness in people, and you'll start to see people, well, I'm no longer aligned with this person. They don't understand me anymore. And so you start to move in circles with people that think like you, and you grow together. You start to grow, and this circle gets bigger and bigger and wider and wider. So we need to step out of our comfort zone a little bit, as it were, open ourselves up. Just try it. Just take the little risk and just open yourself up a little bit and see what happens. And you might be pleasantly surprised with the results.
Yeah. All right. So we got 5 minutes before we go into the top of the hour break. But is there anything? Do you do, like, when you do readings, do you look at things that might happen in the world or anything like that? Like,
well, it really depends who calls in. Most of the stuff that I do with Blog Talk is really, they call it psychic work, but I get everything from spirit, and sometimes spirit will allow me to see the energy of people, or allow me to see if they carry on this certain path, this is a likely outcome. Nothing actually is cast in stone because there's too many things involved, other people are involved. So a lot of it is to do with trying to help people sort their problems out. But I just leave it to what happens. The last caller that come through on yesterday's show was actually a mediumship reading rather than to help sort out with any problems. So yeah, it's basically whoever calls in, see what their situation is, and we just roll with it.
Okay, because I was wondering, because like at the near the end of the year, I always do my annual prediction show. Because I've got predictions up for this year, and I was wondering if you saw anything that might be coming this year.
Predictions, I've never got involved in predictions, actually. So what I would be perfectly honest and say, I wouldn't make any predictions because I've never tuned in or been given that sort of gift to sort of be able just to throw out predictions.
Okay.
That would be the honest answer.
I was just wondering if you did any kind of like that work or anything like that with mediumship and everything like that.
No, the nearest we get to predictions is if somebody calls in and they've got a job interview and they want to know how it's going to go. So that wouldn't be so much of well, it would be a prediction in terms of that spirit would show me their energy and try and inform me of who else is going for the interview and what the interviewee is like. But it wouldn't be a prediction in the traditional sense that you're talking about.
Okay. So, I just wanted to see if you saw anything that, with all the stuff that is going on in the world, because I mean, I'm not the kind of person that likes to sit around and watch a lot of TV. A lot of times I'm usually on my computer learning new things or outside working. So I like to learn it, but I do get every once in a while those random messages from Spirit saying, okay, this is what's going to happen, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've learned.
I don't get that, unfortunately, or fortunately, or whatever way you look at it.
You might be fortunate. Because it can be annoying at times.
It can be a bit disturbing. It can be a beautiful thing, and it can be a bit disturbing. But I guess, like in your case, if you've got the experience in it, you know how to control the emotion. with it. So I don't get that stuff at all.
Yeah, I've learned a long time ago to shut it off when I don't want to be bothered. I just want my peace and quiet time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's always that little bit that they try to get through, and it's like, shut up, it's my time.
yeah, exactly. It's my time now. Yeah, I think that's something I learned was, for example, when I finish this show, then I will close down and I will make a point of telling them, okay, that's it now, because I'm got to get off to the airport an hour after we finish this show, and so it's important that I close down. Otherwise, like you'll be sitting there and people, you'll be having a conversation with somebody, and people on the bus will think you're mad. And we're on the earth plane, aren't we? We do have to live here, and we have to do all the things that this earthly body requires in order to survive on this earth plane. So I think there is time and a place for all of this.
Okay, so we're at the top of the hour. We're going to come back with your phone calls after this commercial break with my guest, Mike Cavalli. We'll be right back.
Hello from the other side.
Okay. Yeah.
I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside.
Yeah, that's fine. That's no problem at all. We'll see what can happen if they want us to connect. Sometimes we can connect straight away with a loved one in spirit. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but we'll get there. We'll Yeah.
Do you want to know how to attract love, money, jobs, success?
Yeah.
Well,
and
check
sometimes
out livelifemadeorder.com.
you know,
If you go to the products
don't
page and
the
mention
person
Talking Tonight,
wanting the reading doesn't get to hear what they want to hear because
That's
they have a lesson
livelifemadeorder.com.
to learn themselves. And that's a difficult thing to tell somebody, but somehow Spirit gives us the way to get that message across, to do it in a loving way.
Well, tune in
So
every Tuesday
we'll
night at
see
8 p.m.
we'll see what
Pacific
happens
on the
here.
Talking Tonight Facebook page
You know,
for
it might
Ask
just be
Paranormal
they
Phil.
want opinions
The show
about
is a
something
Facebook Live
spiritual,
show where he gets into different
whatever
topics
goes.
about the paranormal and answers your question. That's Ask Paranormal Phil every Tuesday night, only on the Talking Tonight Facebook page.
Yeah.
Do you have a talk radio, Facebook Live, or YouTube show and would like guests for your show but don't know where to go to get them? Well, go to radioguestlist.com and sign up today.
Yeah,
they have all different experts in different fields, and you can find the ones that
I don't
just
like
right
that.
for your show.
So I just
That's
just try and be blank
Sign up today.
about all of that.
It's free.
I think that's the best policy. Okay. Yeah.
To call into the show, Skype Paranormal Phil, or by phone at 951-223-5055. And now, back to Talking Tonight with your host, Paranormal Phil.
Okay, and we are back with my guest, Mike Cavalli. I'm just typing in the chat here real quick to let people know what to call in. Of course, I gave out the numbers to call in. Skype Paranormal Phil or by phone at 951-223-5055. I almost forgot my Skype number.
As you do.
Of course, when you're working with spirit and everything like that, you tend to get distracted quite a bit.
Yeah, yes, we do, quite a bit. And for me, people call in, for example, and they might call in about 4 weeks later, well, even 4 weeks later, they could call in tomorrow and say, I had a reading yesterday and Spirit said da 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 da. I just don't remember. It's not that I'm in trance or anything like that. Am I in an altered state? I guess you kind of are, but thankfully, I don't recall most of the messages that's giving out, and I think that's a good thing, actually, for myself and for anyone calling back in, because otherwise you're just remembering and you're not communicating with spirit then, and obviously the link is blocked. So so if anyone does call in and they call back, say in a week's time, I won't remember the message at all. We just see where this all takes us, I think, now, and it should be fun. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, so I'm just waiting because I know somebody's going to... Yeah, actually, I got it now.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. Let's hope I get this right.
Okay.
All right. Hold on. All right, Nicole, you're on the air. I bet.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Okay, now I have to figure out this whole connected with another call.
Okay. You want me to try to start?
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to figure out this whole thing of connecting with the other caller. So, please, for those listening to the show, I'm still learning the whole Skype thing, so it says, and I don't know why it's not doing it. So, hold on.
Alright.
Let's see. I'm trying to get it to connect. So, hold on. Let's see. Okay. It says... Oh, there we go. Maybe. Hello, Mike. You there? Or Nicole, you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, so, hold on. I'm trying to... Why is it not wanting to let me add the call?
Yeah, it's like the time now.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the whole Skype thing. For those listening, I'm still trying to learn the whole Skype thing. It says click to add to the call, but it's not wanting to do it.
Huh.
For some odd reason. Alright, so what was your question? And I'll relay it to him.
What have you had? Reading.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. I'll let him know, and I'll have to, because like I said, Skype is being funny. Actually, wait, I had something.
Take your time.
There we go. Hold on. Maybe there. No. Let's see. Okay, so. Wow. Okay. Not that. Not that. Not that. Okay. Okay, well, I can't figure it out, Nicole, but I'll tell you what, I'll get him to give you a reading and everything like that when I get back on the air, because it's not showing me how to do it, so. Alright, so I'll see what we can do. But I know, like, for what I'm about to say, like I said, we talked before and stuff like that, and I still feel that there's quite a few doorways open, and Spirit is telling me that you need to close those doorways.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what, I'll get back with you, and hopefully I can figure out the whole Skype thing, and I'll get him to, I'll give him your name and everything and let him do your reading for you.
Alright, thank you.
Alright, so we are hopefully back on the air with Mike Cavalli. Okay, Mike, you there? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I could not figure out the whole.
Okay.
It said. Actually, hold on. Now let's see. No. Okay. Maybe. Okay. I think I might have figured it out. Maybe. Maybe.
Fingers crossed.
So I mean, I have to, because it says. Of course, I think what it has to be done is they have to add me on Skype, and then I can bring it over. But I had a listener call in. Of course, I've been working with her because she's been testing these paranormal apps and everything like that, and she's opened a lot of doors, and she wanted a kind of a reading. Her name is Nicole. Okay. So I didn't know if you could do a reading just based off the name, or do you have to talk to a person?
No, I can try and do that. Was there a specific problem? Is it like the portals that she's opened? I guess she wants them closed. Is I guess that the question?
Yeah. Well, see, I've also done that kind of work. I do cleansing of homes and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get going with this here, and I'll tell you what comes through here. First of all, one of the things that Spirit are very good at working with now is with all this technology. Okay, and just to give you a quick example, I had a Spirit box, but I don't use it anymore. I've gone back to using the trumpet, the old cone for spirit communication. So one of the things about this is if she is concerned about portals that she's opened and wants them closed, they tend to tell you, oh, it's not so easy to close. It can be very easy to close. You absolutely just need intention here, absolute intention. And the most important thing here for you is to have no fear. If you have a slightly negative energy, they like to work on fear. But if you just remove that and put the trust that you actually closing this portal now, that you don't want anything to come through, it will happen. It will happen almost immediately. But you have to make absolute intention. You can do a little ritual with a little prayer, light a candle, do that kind of thing. The other thing is I feel that's coming through here is we spoke about dabbling, messing around with things, and not necessarily in a bad way, but it's very important when you do this stuff to initially set, if you can, a specific time on a specific day to do this kind of stuff. Then again, it's intention. But if you just do it here, do it there when you've got a moment, it can bring in stuff that perhaps that you don't want. So this is not a problem. This is not an issue. Again, a little bit of coldness all around me now because I know Spirit is coming close. Just make intention exactly what you want, and then if there's a dark energy around, it will go away. I've got somebody in Spirit that was with this lady. As you can hear, my voice is changing incredibly. This person on the other side had a real problem with their voice. It was either catarrh or that they used to smoke a lot. And I think it's the smoker because I got the shivers. They're coming through right now, and you've got the protection of this person with you. I think this might even be a father figure that's coming through here right now.
That might be my dad because he was a smoker and I am a smoker.
There you are. Okay. Well, that person is coming through, and this is how they identify themselves. I'm not surprised if your father's with you, and we're linking in. I would imagine that he was somebody that would have, let's say, not forthright or pushy, but would have taken the opportunity to communicate while the opportunity is there.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt, but also the listener's dad also used to smoke, so it might be them too.
Okay. I mean, I've also been given a name before this person come on air. I got the name that sounded very similar to Tandy, something like this. It could be Tandy Candy. So I don't know if this is going to be for another caller, but this name come flying in before we went to the phone lines, and so I got the name Tandy. So just whoever it is, hang on to that name. Because it might be for you, unless you know somebody of that name.
No, I don't know anybody by that name.
Okay, it is for somebody, because you know what it's like. It comes flying in. It's like, okay, the lines are open. Now's our opportunity. Boom, and the first person jumped in there with the name Tandy. So we'll see who that.
Could it be Tammy?
It could be Tammy. It could be It comes in so fast. I had a caller yesterday where I thought the name was Betty or Betts or something like that, but it was Beverly. And I've honest enough to know that yes, that's probably it, or no, I got it completely wrong.
Yeah, because I do have a friend that a listener that has a friend named Tammy that I believe passed on.
Okay, it could well be Tammy. It just come in so quick. Tammy and Tandy sound quite similar. So let's just hang on to that then and see if that is who it's for, and see where the remainder of this show takes us. But I hope that has answered the question with regard the spirit apps and all the rest of it. There's nothing. There's nothing wrong with these apps that we have now. There's a great documentary called Calling Earth. You watch it on Vimeo, and this guy is recording spirit just using an old tube radio, and it hasn't even got a record button. And so this will show you that spirit is using technology all the time, and it's in my opinion, no more efficient than the old technology. They will just use whatever's available. But it's important for this lady to close down after she's worked with this, and it'll be okay. And the other thing that comes through is, I think she's concerned that not too much real information's coming through. If she dedicates the time and a day there goes the voice again, to a regular time and day, eventually she'll start getting some wonderful results with it, and that's the information that they're offering. Okay. So
the person that said Tammy, that friend is still living. Okay, so
right.
He says, can you tell me the sport that I guess she talks to me about, or something like that?
Oh wow! Well, only if I could. Okay. So Tammy's in spirit. Is that correct?
No, she's still with us in the living.
She's still with us in the living. Oh, blimey! To be honest, in such a short period of time, to find something like that would be incredible if I could do that.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
And the honest answer is, I don't think I could give a really. I don't think I could connect that quick with spirit to give that information. How that information comes is once we build up a link and we communicate, that comes in. Just to give you a brief example, yesterday's call, at the end we was talking about television, and I said, I don't know if you watch too much television or you don't, but they keep talking to me about television, and she said that she works in television, I think it is. So, but that was after a conversation that I had with her, and we was building up a link. So I'd have to be very honest and disappoint this person, saying if I was to say something now, it would be a mere guess, and I don't think that would be beneficial to anybody. Perhaps at some point, if we can get them to call in and we can communicate, hear the voice, then we could work on that, and we could do that another time. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I'm just like I said, when Skype changed over to via Windows, they changed things, and it's like, how do you do this now?
It used to be so easy. Now it's very complicated. Yeah.
And I'm looking at the thing. It says that add or go to show contacts button in the call bar, and that might be the wrong thing. So I might have looked at the wrong thing, but I'll eventually figure it out. Just matter of when.
That's it. That is it. It's I think when Microsoft took it over, it just got incredibly complicated, and I think it done automatic updates when you didn't want it, and I've struggled with it as well a little bit. So you're not alone there, Phil. You're not alone with that one.
Yeah. So now, looking at your website, and I'll just have to have the guests ask questions in the chat and stuff like that until I figure it out. I'll work on it while I'm talking with you. But if people have any questions, now, listener says, there are someone that some say that I have a strong connection with spirit, and he wants to know if he does. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, or the beginning, about our ability to see and communicate with spirit, and it I don't know about you, but I know for like me, it took years of learning, different years of training to learn to shut off and turn on that ability to see spirits. But how does somebody unlock that ability?
Oh, okay. As you said, it's a process that you have to go through. You have to change your thinking. We have to go from questioning everything, as we do in society. We have to put that to one side, hear what's given, just whatever's given. It may not make any sense to you whatsoever, but hear what's given and trust it. Once you build up the trust, the link with spirit becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. As you will know, when you give a reading, you quite often say, well, I'm getting this information, that information, it makes no sense to me whatsoever, and the person will say, well, it makes perfect sense to me. So it is a trust issue, trusting that the information we're given is not our imagination, that it is actually coming from spirit. You need to, I think, perhaps join a circle so that you can get a program, you can get into it, you can get into a regular time, a regular date that we just spoke about. And most importantly, as we spoke about, learn to switch off. Don't keep trying to do this all day, every day. Eventually what will happen is, and I know everyone experiences this who's intuitive, you'll be driving along, trying to go home, and you suddenly just decide to turn left and go a completely different way home, and you say to yourself, why the hell did I do that? And you might get home and find, a mile up the road there was an accident that you've avoided, a big tailback, and you've got home in reasonable time and didn't get held up in this traffic incident. That's when you're really tuned in, spirit will actually help you do that kind of thing. But until then, you've just got to work at it. Now, with the person here, I do feel that he does have a gift of spirit communication by virtue of the fact that we all do. But I think he's beginning to question things now, because I feel he's beginning to hear. Thank you. He's beginning to see things out of his peripheral vision and beginning to ask what's going on there. Thank you. I think he's hearing a shutter door open and close. and you can pass this down to the wind. I got a shiver there. So that's absolutely clear. Spirit is trying to communicate with him, absolutely, and yes, that's the answer to the question. They are. I feel he's on a spiritual path now. I feel this person wants change in their life, and I feel this has been going back a few years. This person wants change, is finding that there's something more in life, and it has been getting a little bit frustrated with it, and so and now Spirit is getting close. So I feel the time is right for this person to start going to a development circle, start to understand the techniques that are involved with it. But I also feel with this person that they need to relax, because I feel this person has a little bit of, let's say, tension in life, wants to get things done and moves. When you're working with Spirit, you've got to relax a little bit and let it flow. Just let it flow. And so the answer is he is communicating with Spirit. He has got the gift of clairvoyance. Now he just simply needs to develop this. Could happen very quickly. Okay, they're bringing me to bed. Very lucid dreams now. Okay, that's the astral travel coming through. Yeah. Everything is in order. Nothing to worry about. No fear.
Okay, so he's validating everything you're saying.
Okay, that's it. That's perfect. So yes. So when he's ready in his own time, go ahead. Just take the step. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with his gift. And
okay, now the person that I was trying to get on the thing when I answered the call. She wanted to know because she's an author and she's written, I think, 3 books, and she wanted to know if her books would be successful.
Okay, right. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's try and link in here. Author, book. Okay, right. Let's see here. Okay, right. This is very, very much a personality thing that's coming through here. Okay, this is a baby. What's coming through is this is her baby. This new thing is her baby. And okay, in order for this to be successful, they're saying you've got to put a little bit of trust in the universe, put a bit of trust out there that it's going to be okay. I'll tell you what it's like. They're showing me a mother holding a baby so tight that the baby can't breathe and expand, and the mother's doing this through love. And what's coming through here with the book is that yes, this has been a lot of work. Yeah, you've got to just let go of the hard work now and allow the process to take place. Allow the world of Spirit, the universe, to home in on that energy that you've been creating to create this book. They want to bring something in about self-doubt, and they want to bring something in about the past, and that is that this is a different time now, this is a different place now, and you're a different person now. And so this will flow. This book will start to flow when you let go of hanging on to it, is the only way I can describe it. Your work is done with this now, in terms of the emotional energy that's been put into it. They also talk about electronic books here. They're more in favour of actually paper book, of a real edition, because that's where the real energy is into the book. That's where the real soul of it is. So I'm not sure if it was just a Kindle or anything like this, but they're really keen to see a paperback version of this.
Yeah, well, if I'm not mistaken, she does have it in paperback as well as Kindle. You there, Mike? Okay, I think I might have lost Mike here for a second. I don't know. Hold on. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. So, we lost you there for a second. I don't know what happened. But no, she.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I like to call them, the computer gremlins got me again.
Yeah, we know that story, don't we? Wow, yeah.
I mean, I've gone through so many trials and tribulations, troubles and stuff like that. As far as like, as soon as I think I'm doing good, something always drags me back down. But I always try to keep that positive vibe about me, because I know there ain't nothing I can do. I believe everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely. And, again, we started off talking about the dark side, didn't we? I mean, and this is the shadow work that you're actually working through. And, it's a tribute. You're actually working through, as we all need to do, keep working through our dark side, and slowly we become better, more focused, we get more joy, more love, and so on and so on, what we spoke about at the top of the hour there. So we just keep working on it, don't we? We have to be active. That's the thing. We have to be active and show intention, and if we showed the same intent with what we want in life as to the same intention we put into work, because when we look at work, when we're working, we have to focus, we have to be in the now, we have to do the job at hand. Yet when we leave work, we sort of switch off, and most of us don't be in the now, don't have attention to what we want or what we want to create. We just kind of switch off, and that's a shame. So part of my job and your job and people like us is to keep people focused on what they really want. So I don't know why I said that, but there you are.
Who knows? But we're coming up on the last commercial break of the night. Hopefully I'll figure out the whole Skype thing eventually. I'll do that after the show. But if you got a question that you want to ask my guest about connecting with Spirit or his work as a medium, type it in the chat, let me know, and I'll relay the message. We'll be right back after the short commercial break.
Oh, yeah.
Be sure to check out the show's website at talkingthenight.weebly.com for some great content
it is
such as
a strange
Story of the Day,